a fantastic class, and if you get an opportunity to YouTube so the Gixer Racing in Asia, you'll see just how those young guys, and they don't care too much for their life. It's not about what they're going to be doing tomorrow, it's about living today, and they just throw these bikes around, and it is so exciting to see. It's one of the real strengths of Asian racing, to capitalise on the fact that by their gene structure, of course, they're only a young sportsman. Hello, a jump start from Michael Wilson. I think that'll be caught up with the officials do that and not us, as the young man qualified on pole, the young and exciting man from Invercargill. Team Wilson Concrete Pumping getting the advantage through there, so good work by Michael. He's got that advantage. Can he hold it? That's going to be another question, and if there is to be a penalty, of course, we'll maybe find that out during the race. We're unsure. We'll let the officials do that. That's their job, but the Gixer cupping away, and the freight train is all on, and watching that freight train spider, because it's also important to get caught in behind it and see whether you can get the slipstream advantage and squeeze past. See, some of those other riders are a fraction smaller than Michael. He maybe get, oh, there they are, look at that, 3 wide as we head down towards John Jones Steel. That a good corner at the top end. You won't even have to worry about backing off for that one, boys, as you fly it through the corner. The knee goes out as they peel their way through John Jones.
Yeah, an incredible class, and when I heard this class was coming, the first thing as a commentator, I thought, oh no, because one of the things I've done is I've supplied a package here for 5995 matching gear, so it's all Alpine Star gear with the exception of the helmets. The helmets are Bell. There is a couple of different colour schemes. Most of the leathers are the same colour. There are several options, and boots and all that, and of course all the bikes are the same colour. But the other side of me as a sportsman said, wow, what a great class to bring to MNZ, New Zealand Superbike Championships. So it is very difficult for us to pick up just the colours of the colours of the people. Every now and then someone like Harry Parker, number 24 from Timaru, he's back in 7th place. He's coloured his wheels up and his belly pan. He's got a bit of a stripe on his helmet there. So look at this, coming over the front straight. Tarman Walker in 2nd place. Number 34, Thomas Newton there, the lead. We did mention there's possibly a 20-second penalty for the lead rider, but the officials are going to review that footage there. So right now, Tarman Walker there in 2nd place with Michael Wilson in 3rd. Blake Ross, Clark Fountain, Zach Fuller, Harry Parker, Scott Hawkes, Cameron Goldfinch, and Matt Broth there, the top 10. And then we've got JP Sabretz there on bike number 21, Will Derby Hoffman, Oliver Dennison from Wangani, Justin Mounder, and Josh Hodson. Difficult conditions here in practice yesterday. Saw a couple of bikes going down. It was wet. A couple of the guys have decided to put some new tyres on because they're having trouble as well. There's no restriction on tyres. There is a restriction on the branded tyres. It is a specified Dunlop tyre, Neil Ritchie.
Yeah, indeed, and some nice policing going on in that one as well. But there was a lot of talk about whether tyre warmers were allowed, and of course, well, what is a tyre warmer? There's a tyre warmer, and there's people that warm a tyre. You want to warm a tyre by putting it over a gas stove or something like that. So I think the common sense situation has allowed tyre warmers in place. After all, they're not going to make a tyre hot. If everybody's got that same advantage, it's not as if it takes a massive checkbook, because tyre warmers have become very affordable in recent years. So in the interest of getting a production tyre that's ready and warm out on the track, I think I've got no problem with that one, Spider. That's about equal and fairness, but it's also about safety. So I think you'll find less falls from these bikes now that the tyre warmer situation has been openly talked about. Here we go. Look for the Michael Wilson up there. Can he get his way back in there? Look at that. Right on the tail there, and try and whether he can get through. No change in their order at the moment. In fact, that's one thing about this class. You just follow the leader and the slipstream through there. So Thomas Newton, Tarvin Walker ahead of Michael Wilson. So there we go with 2 North Islanders and the South Island boy from Invercargill in there in 3rd place. Ahead of Blake Ross from Pyroar, out of Clark Fountain from Greymouth, Zach Fuller out of Huntley on the Mahoe Land Company supported little Kiwi rider Gixer, and there along with local man Harry Parker in there at 7th place. Harry would have been hoping to have got some inside advantage being here on his home track at the moment, but really it's all about tactics on this one, Spider, and just seeing whether you can get that advantage. Don't see any talk or looking at officials for anything on Michael Wilson, remembering of course that he just looked to jump a fraction, but he also grabbed a handful of brakes, so he actually went start, stop, start again. I know it's still not a proper start, but he wouldn't have got a lot of advantage. Maybe it's been thought that it's a sufficient enough penalty.
The rules are quite clear. Once you're under starters orders, usually once that red flag comes off the track where they come across, you are under starters orders, and if you move. So we weren't watching the start line as well. Oh, we go now. Well, how good's this? Number 16, a time penalty. Number 16, a time penalty is displayed up on the thing there. So we did. You were right there, Neil Ritchie. But anyway, let's get back onto the track and find out who's doing the damage out there. Thomas Newton, he's got a bit of a break over Tarvin Walker. Tarvin Walker's had some smart lines over this championship. Just last weekend, he out of the big sweeper on the front straight. He hugged the white line all the way on this down the thing. He's aware that slipstreaming is so vital in this class, especially on a long wrong straight like we've got down the back straight here at Timaru and the long front straight, and that's what he was doing, so no one would get in behind him. So there's Tarbin Walker in third place. He's got the red colour on the fairing, also sponsored by Storm and Bikes. Norm from Fielding, I think, and look at him, he's getting that slipstream down that back straight there, Neil Ritchie.
Yeah, in fact, and of course Michael got the advantage over him through the tighter stuff there last time, and it's now Michael that's struggling to hold on to the neck placing, but he has got that time penalty, as we've seen from the officials. So Michael Wilson with some work to do there, because he'll need all of that he can get. Now, what is that time penalty? We can't see from here, but we're going to presume it's a 20-second. So if you go and add 20 seconds onto his time, when you look at all the overalls, in fact, see if we can pick up a little bit of a time and just see where he's going to slot back into. No, we're only seeing gaps here at the moment, so we don't see that total lapse time. But 20 seconds with these guys, well, that's going to be, it'll be a minimum of 10 places, by the way. I think we're going to see it go. But interestingly, on that lap, just the previous one had been no change, but we saw Zach Fuller, the big mover for the Kiwi Rider magazine man. He's picked up, he's gone 2 places up in fourth. Also Clark Fountain, he's overtaken Blake Ross, and of course Michael, who've gone past Tarbin Walker.
The top 11 bikes within 1.5 seconds of each other. That is Gixer Cup racing there, and right now we're seeing 3 bikes. Somebody goes up on the inside. I can only recognise young Tarbin Walker, number 31 from Whanganui there, and from the front of his fairing, and we had the pleasure of having his mother over from Australia, Cairo Hurd, I think it ain't Cairo Hurd, yeah, Cairo as in the city, at some of the Suzuki series. No doubt she's watching at home, and here her boy comes in from second place into front. He doesn't need this win necessarily. He does need to get ahead of 34 Thomas Newton, because in behind him is 16 where the time penalty is applied. He does need the win. Tarbin Walker definitely does. Everyone needs a win in the class, but 1.6 or so seconds separating the top 11 bikes. Oliver Devenson down there in 12th place there from Whanganui. I think there's 3 Whanganui boys. Cameron Goldfish, Tarbin Walker's from Whanganui. I think there's another one somewhere.
Ollie Dennison.
Ollie Dennison, yeah, that's...
Yeah,
yep,
and of course we had young Hunter Stoneman Boyle, who hasn't come to the South Island rounds. Did exceptionally well on his home track Whanganui on the Boxing Day event. From memory, I think that he won a race, I think, from memory. Apologies, okay. All right, white flag to go in the update at this stage, so keen to look out for these guys. Round through the hairpin they go, and it's a good run with Tarbin Walker in front. Man, he does a beautiful corner through there. Look how low he can get that knee to go around that bike. When you look at the 3 of them on an angle, he certainly gets the bike to drop down on a tighter apex on that corner than the riders behind him. Remember, of course, the time penalty for Michael Wilson, so even though he's potentially going to cross the line in third place.
Look at this! 34 comes through and takes the win. 34 by 5/100ths of a second. I think Tarbin Walker was punching the air with his fist, thinking he had the win. 58 thousandths of a second between first and second. Go back 0.2 to third place, Michael Wilson, but not on the screen there. Here we go. Here's the slow motion there, Neil Ritchie.
Yeah, indeed. Great to watch here, courtesy of CTAS Live as we go into the corner. It's all Tarbin Walker from here. He's got 4 or 5 bike links on him. No way that he should lose it from there. The 31 in front of the 34, and check out the 16 in there, Michael Wilson. But here we go into the second corner, and look at the distinctive lines. See that? He's mailing right up through there. Look at that, the slingshot coming out, putting his wheel in front. We go towards the line. Check that out. Tell you what, there's been many a race that's been not down to the margin that you're seeing there. That is just so tight. Fantastic to see. What a CTES update. Fantastic. So Thomas Newton steals it back ahead of Tarbin Walker. But remembering Michael Wilson has the 20-second time penalty. So keen to actually have a look at this and see where those results are going and whether we actually see it on our